Hi there, today we're going to look at integrating Zoho Forms with a website, and this website is in fact a WIX website. So this is the website, and I'm going to replace the contact us form here with a Zoho form, which is part of the Zoho 1, and then we're going to integrate that and make it available into our CRM leads. So the first thing we should do is create the form. So I'm going to open forms, create new form, and actually I'm going to use a template. And we've got on the left here some predefined templates already, and as I want to use a contact us, I will opt for using the contact us template, which is fairly close to what I want. So I'm going to use this template. Now, before we get started, I just want to point out, you'll see this particular form, we don't have a lot of space here, and the fields are quite close together. So when you first design your form, you've got your form properties on the right, and you've got the ability here to change the location of your labels, and that will provide, let's say, a tighter fitting form, okay, or place them on the top. So I'm going to take this option here, and I'm going to just rename the form. Actually, I'll call it heat pump cover. There we go. All right. And what else do I want to do? Let's have a look here. It's got subject. I think I don't need the subject, but what I would like is the inquirer's phone number. So I've drag and drop from the left here the phone icon, the phone field, place that on there, and I would say insert or enter mobile number. Okay, so that will show under the field that I want their mobile number. The next thing we should note that these red asterisks indicate compulsory or required fields. I don't need people to make a comment, so you can turn that off here under validation, but I actually do want their phone number, so we can click on this as mandatory. And then the last step I'm going to do is define a lead source. Now, some of these leads come from various locations, so what I'm going to do is add a lead source field, and I'm going to enter a value here. Okay, or actually we'll call it heat pump website. Okay, and we are going to hide it. Okay, so what will actually happen now if we have a quick look at this form is we've got first name, last name, we've got email, we've got phone, entered a phone, and you'll see we have not got any details about the lead source because it's actually hidden. So I'll save that. Okay, so that's done. What we now need to do is look at the top here, some additional settings. So the next step we should have a look at is maybe the integration. So it's already suggesting we could integrate to CRM, so I'll say yeah, let's do that. The module we're going to integrate with is the leads module. The layout is our standard layout. Last name of the CRM, which is on the side, is going to integrate with the Zoho form of also last name. So the next field will be first name, and we'll integrate with first name. We can integrate with, let's have a look here, lead source, and we will pick up lead source. We've got the mobile number for the CRM, and we'll map that to phone. We've got email address, and we'll map that to email. And lastly, we've got the description, and we'll map that down to leave us a few words. That's really all we need to capture. So that's integrated. Down here we've got some settings about you want to send this for approval. Do you want to attach a signature or anything to the form? Will it trigger a workflow? I can use this one, and what this one says is if this record already exists, using the email field, if they use the same email field, simply update that record and don't add it again. So I'm going to integrate that. and that's now done. So we could do a quick test. We could do access form, and we'll put Steve Jones, and we'll put stevie@hotmail.com with his phone number and his comments like this. We'll put submit, and it's come up with a message saying thank you for submission, etc. We can close that out, and I'll go across to the leads and we'll refresh our leads, and sure enough, here's our Steve record, and including the lead site where it came from. So it came from our heat pump website. We've got the phone number. If we scroll down a little bit down here, we should see the description. We've got no comment. So all that seems to be working. Okay, so the next step we want to do is look at some of the settings of the form, because there was a couple of things I wasn't quite happy with. Firstly, if we have a look at the form on the website, we've already got a label or a heading called contact. So actually, I don't actually want to show the header when we insert this form. I want to change the submit button, and I'll just put, let's say send. Let's change it to send. The date format looks fine. I can change this to the area that I want, the time codes that I want to use it in, and I will use it, let's say here, one more up here, this one will do. Okay, and that looks fine for date, time, format, settings, etc. The next setting we want to have a look at is called acknowledgement and receipts. Now you'll remember that it popped up a box saying thank you for submitting your data. I didn't particularly like that, so what I'm going to do is redirect to the website itself. So we'll just go and grab the web address, and I'm going to enter that here. So after we click submit, it's going to basically do this in the same window, go back to the page itself, and then we're going to just have a splash message saying thank you for your inquiry, and we can click save. Okay, email and notifications. Let's have a look at this one. What we can do is we can send the person that made the inquiry an email and say thank you. So we can merge in their email address from the form, and we can say thank you for your inquiry for heat pumps covers. Okay, we know that. And then on the right hand side here, we can have their first name, and we can say hi, whatever their name's going to be. Thanks for your inquiry. One of our team will contact you shortly. Regards, otherwise. Okay, and it's also possible, these are all of the data that we've collected, their IP address, their time, their lead source, all of that information is available, and some people may wish to, you know, say something like this is the data you sent us, and you can merge all of that data in if you wanted to in that email as well. Okay, what else we got here? Once again, you could also merge any of the data you've collected into the subject as well, and we can hit save. So we've created a template that's going to kick off the minute we submit the form, and I think that's probably most things we need to worry about at this point. So let's have another test of the form. You'll see this time we've got no heading, so we'll just put Tommy this time, and we'll put Howie like this, and we'll put Tommy's email at gmail.com, put Tommy32 and Tommy's phone number, and we'll leave that blank. Now when we hit the send button, you'll see that's been updated. What we should do is get that little splash screen saying thank you, and then we've been returned to the website. So once again, that's looking really cool. And if we go back to our leads and we do a refresh, we should see Tommy here. If we open up this particular record, you'll see the lead, the email address, all that information has come through. Let's have a look at any email. Yep, so that looks fine. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll go back to the form, and I'll just have a look at the form here, and you'll see one of the issues that we've got with this form is the colors. So, you know, if we're going to have this form fit in here, we need to, you know, try and make it the same look and feel. So what we suggest is you go across to your website in WIX, you go to your WIX editor, and we try and see if we can work out some of the colors that have been used. So we're in the editor now. If we move down to the section here, first thing what we could do is say have a look at this area. So firstly, you can see that we're using the font as Arial. It's using 12 pitch there, or points there, and also you'll see we've got color here, and you'll see that this is the color of the text, this code here. So what I could suggest you could do is maybe using these particular color pickers, you can pick a color to a point where the text appears to be invisible, or very close to invisible, and that would give you an indication that that's the color that's being used for the background, and that would be the color that we want to apply for the actual form colors. So let's go back to the form now, and we go to an area called themes, and we now want to customize the form. So I've actually picked up the color that I need is actually this code here, and I'm going to change the background of the form to that particular color, and we're just going to paste it in here. So we've now done that, but you'll see there's some lines here, so I need to make it clear, so you take off any of the patterns. And this is the form itself, so let's go down a little bit, and we've got the form. Let's have a look. Form for the form container, we want that to also be the same color. Okay, so that's now transparent. Now we've got this looking a little bit funny. That's called the submit. Let's have a look. The submit container background. Let's have a look. Form header. Might be that one. Let's have a look. Yep, okay, so that's the form footer. The green color doesn't really go with the current website, so once again we could come back here and maybe go for this darker color here. So this is the color number, and we could come back to our form, and we could look at this button here, and we'll have a look at the submit button, and we'll look at the background, and we'll see if we can update that. So that looks fine. You'll see there's still a bit of a green line around it. That's the border. So let's see if we can find borders. Okay, and we've got submit border. We could do one or two things. We could remove it altogether, or we can have a thin border but then change the color. So we then get this. Now let's have a look at the font, because the font, you'll remember, was Arial 12. So we'll go to the font, we'll go to the field labels, we'll use Arial normal, and we'll use 12, and I'm also going to use that dark color. Okay, And that's kind of looking not too bad now. So the only other thing I would do is maybe the size of the form itself. So let's have a look at the width. It's got 800 here. So let's have a look how wide we need this form to actually be. What I would do is come back to the form here and have a look at this to see if we've got any clues to the width. And I can't see anything just there. But how we're going to integrate this form is actually by adding some code, and we use that by coming down to more and using this iframe embedded widget here, and we would drag and drop that to where we want it. So if we go something like this, and then we kind of stretch it out here a little way, that will give us an idea maybe how wide we can have the form. So let's say, to me it looks close to say 500, 510. So we can come back to here, we can put 510 as the width. That will do us, and we'll hit apply. Okay, we can close that down. We can have a quick look at the form. So that's what we're going to end up inserting. So what I need to do now is, if we go back to the web editor, I can move that, and now we can actually remove the form that's underneath. And what we'll do is we'll just place this roughly where we want it, and we enter code. So you hit the enter code button, and then when you come back to the form, you have to go to something called sharing. And there's lots of ways that you can share. You can send somebody a link. You can track referrals that open. You can put some text in that can record where this link came from and things like that. But on the left here is different ways you can embed that form, and I'm going to use the iframe because that's the kind of widget that we've got here, and I'll just paste that in, and let's have a look here. Height is 500, width, okay, and we'll apply. And there we go, we've got that done. Now I'm going to also just change the design here to ensure that we have, there we go, use no color, and that way we're going to get the same look and feel. Now it looks a wee bit funny just there, but I'm going to do a couple of adjustments. Okay, the first adjustment we'll do is we want to move and position the form a little bit better. So I'm going to maybe position here, maybe up a little bit, because we've got the first name quite a long way from the header or the section title. But now you'll see it's disappeared. So what we need to do is just maybe push this to the back, move backwards like that, and now you'll see contact has come onto the label. What I'll also do is just move that along. Overall, maybe stretch it out a little bit more, and that's probably looking okay just now. Maybe down a wee bit. Now you'll see on the right we've still got this bar for scrolling. We could extend the stretch the footer so it's not having to scroll. We could certainly do that, and then we can stretch that out a little bit more, and then we can ensure that the form is there, or you can just leave it so the user has to scroll a little bit. Okay, we're just going to try and get rid of this scroll bar. What I suggest is you firstly just maybe click on the form and try and resize it a little bit, so you can see at the top there we're starting to get the width and the height of the form. So I can see that's about 450 high. So what I'm going to do is we'll edit the text here, or edit the code, and you'll see the height here is set as 400 pixel. So let's make it about 450, and we'll update. Okay, so that's made it a little bit smaller, and then what I'm going to do is just maybe stretch it until that bar disappears, and then I'm going to just see if I can scroll back my bottom uh, bottom of the footer, and now that looks pretty good. So I'm going to save that, publish, and refresh the website, and we'll scroll to the bottom, and now we've got that contact form looking pretty good. So I'm going to put in our demo client, so we'll put Teddy this time, and we'll put my email address so we can see the reply email coming back into my email inbox, and there's no comments here. Alright, and then we'll press send, and it's come up with thank you for that inquiry, and it's actually, I've got a pop-up block, but it should return us now to the front page of the heat pump cover, which is correct. So I'm going to go back to my email here, and here's the email. Hi Teddy, thanks for the inquiry, blah blah blah. So that's all done. Okay, let's summarize what we've just been looking at. Firstly, with Zoho 1, we used the Zoho form application. We created ourselves a new form by templates. We added a couple of fields, including the lead source field. We then integrated the various fields on the form to our leads module in the CRM. We then spent some time playing with the themes and getting the look and feel of the form right. In the settings, we went through and set up how we wanted the form looking, how to redirect the form after it had been submitted, and also a thank you email template that would be sent to the customer. After that, we went through to our WIX website. We opened up the editor, and then we scrolled down to the part of the website that had our contact form. We removed the original form that was there, and then we substituted the Zoho CRM form onto the web page itself by using an add-on option here through the more function and using the HTML iframe. We went back to the form, you'll recall, and used our share option, found our iframe source, and then cut and pasted that into the form. And then we spent a couple of moments just resizing and editing the code on the form to reduce the size of the form, so we got rid of the scroll bars and things. And then you'll recall we did get some emails coming in saying thank you for the various inquiries you've made, etc. So I trust that that was useful, and you can see it didn't take me too long to integrate a reasonably good looking form into our WIX website. Thank you. My name is Andre from Cloud Solutions. Thank you. Okay, we're just going to try and get rid of this scroll bar. What I suggest is you firstly just maybe click on the form and try and resize it a little bit so you can see at the top there we're starting to get the width and the height of the form. So I can see that's about 450 high. So what I'm going to do is we'll edit the text here, or edit the code, and you'll see the height here is set as 400 pixel. So let's make it about 450, and we'll update. Okay, so that's made it a little bit smaller, and then what I'm going to do is just maybe stretch it until that bar disappears, and then I'm going to just see if I can scroll back my bottom uh, bottom of the footer, and now that looks pretty good. So I'm going to save that, publish, and refresh the website, and we'll scroll to the bottom, and now we've got that contact form looking pretty good. So I'm going to put in our demo client, so we'll put Teddy this time, and we'll put my email address so we can see the reply email coming back into my email inbox, and there's no comments here. Alright, and then we'll press send, and it's come up with thank you for that inquiry, and it's actually, I've got a pop-up block, but it should return us now to the front page of the heat pump cover, which is correct. So I'm going to go back to my email here, and here's the email. Hi Teddy, thanks for the inquiry, blah blah blah. So that's all done. So that's all looking pretty good now. So just in summary, what we've done is we've used the Zoho form, we've designed the form from a template, we've set up the integrations, we then had to work and spend a little bit of time on the theme, getting the colors right and the font size right. We went across to our editor here, we dropped the object on here using the add more and using the iframe HTML widget here, and we've dropped that on there. Then we went and got the share code from the form under share, and we found the iframe code here. We cut and pasted that into our form. We did a little bit of mucking around just to get the sizing right, and then before you know it, the form was looking pretty good on the actual website. And then we started getting emails coming in, and they were thanking us for our inquiry, etc. So that's all working. So yeah, if you've got any questions about this, my name's Andre, and I'm from Cloud Solutions, and you can see it's a good, easy way to integrate WIX inquiries into Zoho CRM. Thanks.